So, let's see. All right, we'll wait for a couple people to get on here. Always so uncomfortable waiting for people to get on. And it's a Friday night, so we'll see if anybody gets on. We're going to talk about what we can control. What can I control? If anybody hops on. In the meantime, I'm going to do this little uncomfortable dance that I do. We've got one. Candace is here. Candace, my good friend who I have not heard from in forever. How are you? Oh, we've got 10 already. All right. All right, guys. So I'm going to jump into it since we've got a couple people. So I came on a couple days ago and I told you guys that I'm going to be doing lives on this page to talk a little bit about what's going on right now. Some of it will be general stuff. Some of it will be tips to get through. Some of it will be related to the struggle as a widowed person. Some of it will just be related to everybody. So today I want to talk about what can I control? And I think that everybody needs to start asking themselves that question. Right now, it feels like we can almost control nothing, right? This is a global situation. And if you feel like you're spiraling out of control, one of the things you can do to bring yourself kind of back to center, there's a lot you can do, but one of the things you can do is just focus on that one question. What can I control? We can't control, who gets this necessarily, although we can do our things to help prevent it. We can't control what the government does. We can't control the economy. We can only control what we can control. And if you focus in on that, that's one of the many ways that we can begin to kind of ease some of the anxiety. It's not going to ease it all, obviously, but it can ease some of it. So if you guys have pen and paper, I want you guys to make a list at the end of this. But let me rattle off a couple of ideas of things I think that we can focus on, of what we can control. So we can control kind of how we take care of ourselves during this, right? We can control that. So I have MS. Working out and eating the correct way is something that really helps my health. I can control still, to some degree, what I put into my mouth. Every morning I wake up, I come downstairs, I make my wild blueberry juice, and I drink it, right? I still am working out at home. Can't go to the gym, but I can work out at home. I can control to some degree, based on what I can get in the grocery store, what I'm putting in my mouth. I can control working out at home. I can continue to do things for my health, for my MS, that help me. I do not have to completely stop all of that. I do not have to completely spiral out of control with my own health because of what is going on right now. So to some degree, we can control continuing to take care of ourselves through this. We can control breathing, okay? When you're having, anxiety and all these things are going on and you feel like the walls are closing in, just kind of sitting in silence and breathing, okay? Remembering where you're at, just breathing. One of the things I'm suggesting is, focusing on something and breathing. So like looking out your window and looking at a tree and just staring at it, staring at nature and breathing. And continuing to do that, continuing to stare at nature and continuing to breathe, just as a way to kind of center yourself, okay? To kind of quiet things down a bit. We can control how much news we watch. So if watching the news, if reading the news is something that's helping you, fine, continue. If you get to a point where you're watching too much of it, or you're reading too much of it, and it's starting to have a negative effect on you, you probably need to scale it back a little bit. Sometimes the walls feel like they're closing in. I work from home. We all have to be home now. But sitting in this house with the news on 24 hours a day is not good for me. So sometimes I need to turn it off. Okay, same thing with social media. If social media is helpful for you right now, fantastic, utilize it. If it's not, if it's toxic, if it's detrimental, get off of it for a while. Figure out how you can use social media in a way that's beneficial for you and not further bringing you down. And please, there is so much that we can do right now to help other people. stop arguing with people over social media. You're not going to start agreeing on politics all of a sudden. You're not going to start agreeing on the coronavirus all of a sudden. Arguing with people on social media is a ridiculous waste of your time. Okay, so these are a couple things we can control. Let's talk about a couple more. If you're like me and you actually have the ability to kind of step out of your home. So I know if you're watching this in New York City, you might not even be able to actually walk out of your home because there will be people there. But if you're like me and you can step out of your front door, you can step into your backyard. Doing so is vital. When I step out of this house and I turn off the news and I get off of Facebook and I remember that there's a sun out there, I remember what it's like to breathe in fresh air, I feel profoundly better. So if you have the ability to do that, please remember, we do not actually have to lock ourselves in the home. You can breathe fresh air, okay? Be in your backyard. They say even here in Illinois where we're supposed to be on, not leave the house now for things, they say going for a walk is okay. So please keep that in mind. Keep yourself moving, keep yourself eating decently. How are you spending your free time? You can control how you spend your free time, bear with me here, to a certain degree, right? So what are you doing at home? Are you sitting there, doing something toxic, doing something bad for yourself? Are you journaling? Are you meditating? Are you talking to friends? You have some degree of control over how you spend your free time in your house right now. When I talk about what we can control though, I don't mean going and hoarding 47 things of toilet paper, right? Like technically I guess you can control like going and buying 18 frozen pizzas and not leaving any for anybody else in the city, but that's not what I want you to do. I know there's a lot of people who are very frustrated with the way other people are acting through this. And I'm going to look at your guys' comments and questions in a second here. But I know there's people who are frustrated with the way others are acting. So I went to the grocery store the other day. And this grocery store has had this for a couple years now. Right before you get the cart, they have a thing of hand wipes. And they've had it for a couple years. It's not new for the virus. And a lady was walking in before me, and she had to be about, I don't know, maybe 50 or 55 years old. Maybe a little bit older, maybe even 60. She was walking in before me. She grabbed her cart. She walked right past the hand wipes, the things that we're supposed to use to sanitize this at this point, and she went right into the store. I can't control that. I can't control the fact that for whatever reason, she's not taking it seriously enough to take the hand wipes that you cannot miss and wipe her cart down. I can't control that. What I could control was wiping my own cart down, right? That's what I can control. So we all need to kind of step back and look at what we can control. And I actually want you with paper and pen, not on a computer, not on your phone, with paper and pen, to make a list. What can I control? And whether it's going for walks, whether it's eating better foods for your health if you have MS like I do, whether it's exercising at home, if you like to exercise, just because the gym is not available doesn't mean you can't. Whether it's wiping down the cart, whether it's checking on a neighbor, whatever it is, whether it's talking to your children in the appropriate way to help them through this, there are a lot of things that we can control. I also want to talk about reaching out to people. So the next video I do is probably going to be on that specifically. I'm not going to talk about it a lot right now, but you have the ability to reach out to people. I don't want to hear like, well, no one's reaching out to me. Are you reaching out to people? I continue to try to reach out to people, and I know I'm forgetting about people, but every day I make an effort to reach out to at least a couple people, to let them know I'm thinking about them, to see how they're doing. That's one of the things I can control, okay? I'm going to read a couple of these comments. If you guys have questions or anything, go ahead and ask them. So Mary says, I've been cleaning, reading, and walking when weather permits. Right, like for me, and things are changing here in Illinois a little bit, but last week, I probably spent at least 8 to 10 hours a day in my car. Either sitting there in my car with the windows down or kind of driving around. Because for me, I know, again, I'm going to say it, sitting in this house with the news on all day is not healthy. And if I let it spiral out of control, I could easily do that 10, 12, 14 hours a day. So for me, just stepping out and breathing the fresh air is absolutely essential. Crystal's here. What's true, Crystal? Penny, I know your allergies. Penny, we've talked about this. You're having a hard time getting out because of your allergies. When I do like my self-care workshops or when I'm talking with the client, we look at productivity as actually one of like the 6 or 7 things of self-care. So I'm going to rattle them off here. I'm going to forget something, but I say self-care is like anything that makes you feel happy or peaceful or healthy or productive, rejuvenated. So being productive right now is something that can be really good. If you have a home project that you've been wanting to do, you've been wanting to clean out the garage, you've been wanting to clean out the closet, you've been wanting to do whatever, doing it right now is something that you can actually control, and it will make you feel a little bit better. One of the many, many, many reasons that so many have anxiety right now is because they feel like they have no control over anything. So focus in on what you do have control over. I have been checking on you, Crystal. It's especially for widowed people or anybody who's dealing with loneliness. This is just exasperating it. When people reach out to us, it means a lot, but please just don't sit back, because everyone right now, and I'm going to talk about this more in detail in the next one I do, but everyone right now is kind of maxed out. And I know that sounds weird because nobody has anything to do, but a lot of people are emotionally and mentally maxed out. So reach out to people, ask how they are. Hope is here. Penny says, I'm getting ready to walk on my treadmill. I'm so irritable right now that I hope walking will help. I started exercising at home again too. I've been eating, I had about 5 days there where I was eating pretty bad, not moving, and I started feeling like crap with my MS. So I took back the control. I focused in on that because that's something I could do. And I'm eating right again, and I'm working out at home again. Sarah, I'm going to do a video on that within the next week. Sarah says it's so hard when other people complain about being stuck with their spouses. So I'm going to do a short, probably 10-minute Facebook Live on that next week. You're absolutely right. What I will say right now is that not all isolation is the same. I think that this is affecting everyone, and it's affecting everyone differently. But yeah, I mean, if I had my beautiful wife here, it'd be far different than being here by myself without my beautiful wife, right? So it's just a fact. But I'm going to do a video on that and get more into that. Brandy says, as a nurse, it can be frustrating when I see people not taking this seriously, just venting. I understand, Brandy, and that goes back to the card issue I was talking about a few minutes ago, and I don't know if you saw that. We can't necessarily control other people's behavior, but we can control our own, and by controlling our own, what we can do is hopefully set an example. And I'm going to also do a video just based on that, just on the setting an example thing that I want to talk about. All right, anybody else have any questions? I really do want you guys to consider, with paper and pen, making a list of things that you can control, okay? Don't be lazy with this. You have time. You have time. If you feel like you're spiraling out of control, make the list. Do it. Do it. That's your homework. Thank you, Karen. Thank you for watching. Allie's here. Michael, thank you. I'm checking in with all my friends. I'm trying to check in with as many people as I can. It's hard. I know I'm forgetting a ton of people. I'm trying to make a priority of people who I really think need to hear it. People who might have an outstanding social life, or a significant other, or even kids at home. I'm checking in on them, but I'm really trying to check in on those who I think really, really need to hear from somebody right now. All right, guys. I'm going to go eat some ice cream, even though I just talked about eating the proper foods. You can treat yourself once in a while, and I'm going to go treat myself, and I'm going to eat some ice cream. I'm going to come back in a couple of days, probably Sunday, and I think I'm going to talk about ways that we can stay connected through this. Even though we can't see each other in person right now, we can stay connected through this. And there's actually, oh, Shelby's here. Hi, Shelby. There's actually ways that we can do that in creative ways. So we'll talk about that probably Sunday, although don't hold me to it. All right. I will talk to you guys later. Have a good night.